Hi guys, I'm going to run out of time before I have to leave this afternoon, so I want to make sure I've got the decomposing a composite function video in first. So this is example number 4. We need to be able to decompose a function. This is really important in calculus. So we want to start looking at these guys and trying it today, or this year I guess I should say. What we're trying to find is we want to rewrite h of x as some composition of two functions. This is going to help us with our differentiation next year. So I need to come up with an f of x and a g of x so that when I plug the g of x into the f of x, I get this guy here. And so we were kind of talking about it a lot during 4th period, and it helped them when I explained that you kind of want to look for what's the big parent function that another function is hiding in. So if you look at h of x, I've got this square root function with another function underneath it. So my big f function is going to be the square root of x. And what am I going to be plugging in to the square root of x to get this guy? That's everything underneath that little house, which would be x cubed minus 4. So now when I plug this guy in, I'll do this just for this one. F of g of x would be f of x cubed minus 4, because that's what g of x is, which means I'm going to take this guy here and plug it in for x. So I get the square root of x cubed minus 4, which is my h of x. All right, looking at b, it doesn't look like a parent function per se just yet, but I know the parent function, or I know this type of function is a quadratic function. I know with quadratics I can do some factoring. I love the word factoring. We can do some factoring with quadratics. So maybe if I factored it, I can get it into a form where I can use this composition of functions. So that when I'm looking at this, the first thing I see is I can pull a 2 out because that's a common factor for all these guys. So this is the same thing as 2 times x squared plus 10x plus 25. Which in 4th period we said, okay, let f of x then be 2x, and then my g of x can be x squared plus 10x plus 25. Perfect. You can totally do it that way. I plug this guy in for x here, and I get 2 times that guy, which we said is the same as this. That totally works. Is that the only way you can do it? No, Brown said, can't we have more than one answer? Yes, you can. And in 5th period, or maybe we did this in 4th grade, I can't remember which, we took it a step further. So I can factor this guy here as 2 times x plus 5 times x plus 5. Which is the same thing as 2 times x plus 5 squared. Now it looks a lot more like my parent function. So when I'm starting to look for parent functions, this is really going to look better, more like what it will for all my other functions. So if we look at this one, this would be 2 times, I'm going to call that guy x squared. And then what am I plugging in for x then? X plus 5. So this is 2 different ways. Is one more right than the other? Absolutely not. Either of them will work, whichever one works for you. Whichever one you can see better, that's the one you want to go with. All right, so let's look at the U tries for this. Maybe. Here we go. All right, so again, 4a, I've got another quadratic function. So it doesn't look like a parent function just yet. I'm going to factor it. So this would be x minus 1 times x minus 1. Why? Negative 1 times negative 1 gives me positive 1. Negative 1x minus 1x would give me negative 2x. And to make it look more like my parent function, I'm going to write it like this. So again, we said it is a quadratic parent function. So I'm going to use my quadratic function. This time I don't have a number out front that I'm worrying about. And then what am I plugging in for that x to get me x minus 1 squared? Just x minus 1. For 4b, what's your parent function for this one? Hopefully you said reciprocal or rational function. Well, the reciprocal function straight up is 1 over x, but I need x plus 7 to be on the denominator, not x, so this would be x plus 7 that I'm plugging in for g of x. So hopefully that makes sense and helps you with your homework. Good luck on your quiz tomorrow.